Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. The theme of today's episode is Am I the Asshole? Frankie is in the audience right now with his little bird. No, he got up. You motherfucker. Why'd you get up? I wanted to get a cute video of you for the people. He's definitely gonna bother me, and I'm gonna have to lock him out in about a second. I feel it coming in the air tonight. On, please. I just love it when he's in here. Like I love when the cats are in here and are spending some time with me. But it's also like, mommy's working. Mommy's working. You can't. Mommy's working. No, he's so cute though. He's probably hungry. So fat. He's always hungry. Okay, now it's just Willa. She's sleeping in here. Well, she was. And I have some Cheez-Its. The title of the first story is, Will I be the asshole if I aborted my baby without telling my husband? I, 29 female, found out I'm pregnant not too long ago. For context, I have 3 kids. I had them pretty close in age. They are all a year apart. I know, pretty irresponsible. When I told my husband, 38 male, that night that I will be getting rid of it and then a tubal ligation, he freaked out and said children are a blessing and I won't ruin our family. He refused to get a vasectomy because he says that what if he wants more kids later? He also refuses to let me get rid of it. No, I'm not on birth control, mainly because of the bad side effects it has on me, and also what my husband thinks it isn't good as it alters the things my body should do. I do not want to have the baby, mainly because I have had 3 C-sections, 1 planned and 2 emergency. So I know for a fact that this would be the wiser option for me. I had went to book my appointment at the clinic yesterday, and the nurse gave me an attitude and asking me questions like, does the father of the baby even know? I told my mom about this and what my plan is, and she told me to not turn away from my responsibilities. She made statements like, he is the father and has a right to know what you want to do to his kid. I know she is trying to be morally right, but I know he won't let me do this, so I have to hide it. To be honest, I regret telling him that night, and I still don't know why I told him. All of our pregnancies, I took the test while he waits outside, so it was the same here. I guess I thought that he would see my point. I'm so drained because I know it's the right thing for me, but when everyone around you makes you feel like you're a terrible person for it, I still have not told my husband. I'm scared I'm going to regret it, but at the same time, I'm scared I will regret having the baby or risking my life to have it. Will I be the asshole if I went behind his back and did it? I mean, no, because wait, this was written 18 hours ago. Where do you live, I wonder? But, yeah, it's your choice, first of all. Your body's going to be the one enduring this whole pregnancy, and you've had 2 emergency C-sections is actually so scary. Like, I would be so traumatized after that. You're worried about your health. I mean, you don't want the child. Like, if you don't want the child, it would not be a great idea to bring a child into the world that you don't want. Your husband, I don't know why you're married to him. It seems like he doesn't really care about you. If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you. The top comment says, this doesn't sound like a healthy marriage. And then someone said, sounds very religious, especially if the mom is on the same bandwagon as the hubby. I'd point out, do you want me to turn out like the lady who had PPD and unalived her 4 kids because they didn't do birth control or safe sex? And someone said, it sounds like a freaky nightmare. I mean, OP and I are in the same age, though I'm 30 in less than a month, and my fiance is only a year younger than her husband, and we've been together since I was 26, but he has never pushed for any blessing babies. He doesn't prevent me from being on birth control or using any form of protection, and he's getting a vasectomy soon, too. I haven't had kids, nor do I want them. I already deal with enough with endo. It makes me fear just how young OP was when they started dating, got married, etc. And when the pretty much forced, in parentheses, if you prevent your partner from using any kind of birth control and come inside them, then yeah, it's forced. Pregnancies started happening. OP, please disregard everyone else's shitty judgments. Do what is best for you. After you get the abortion and tubal litigation, I really think you should see a therapist and really consider if your marriage is even worthwhile. He sounds like a controlling asshole who sees you as his personal baby making machine and nothing else. That worries me. Clock it. Also, tubal litigation is really what the word that she meant, but I promise you this post was written so terribly and I didn't understand a lot of it. So I had to maneuver my way around that, and I didn't know that it was called tubal litigation and not tubal ligation. I don't even know what tubal litigation is. I'm assuming that means getting your tubes tied. Oh no, it's tubal ligation. She was right. But a lot of the other stuff she said was like so terribly written. But tubal ligation, okay, slay. A surgical procedure for female sterilization, which involves severing and tying the fallopian tubes. Yeah, and as you should, girl. As you should. There's an update. Hi, everyone. This is just a last update. Thank you for all your support. I really appreciate it. I did speak to my husband, I think a while after making the post, and he was still adamant on the fact that I'm wrong. He threatened to leave me and called me a murderer, but I wasn't budging. He told me I'm selfish. I saw a comment saying I'm wrong for not telling him. If you look back at my initial post, he knows I'm pregnant and want an abortion, so I'm not hiding it from him. The only thing I'm hiding is when I'm getting it done, so he doesn't try to stop me, because in his words he said, "Let's see if you get it done." I had a comment say the fourth one wouldn't be a risk since they allow C-sections up to pregnancies, but with my case, I had two emergency C-sections due to placenta previa, and I even hemorrhaged in my last one. About the birth control comments, I am not on birth control because I have high blood pressure, and even when I wanted to get the IUD, the doctor advised against it. Using condoms is our main prevention, including safe and unsafe days, but sometimes they don't work for us. And the age question, we met when I was 22 and dated not more than a few months after that, and then got married at 23. And to the how did I get pregnant if I knew our prevention is not serious question, I was fully not active for I think a year after he refused to have a vasectomy while still wanting to be sexually active unprotected because he hates the feel of condoms. This pregnancy happened just because we went for a drink to talk about this and de-stress. I still don't know how it happened, but oh well. With all that being said, I will be getting the termination. It's been booked for Monday next week. I don't know on whether I will come update what happens after the termination. I have 3 beautiful baby girls, and I want to be an alive mother for all of them. I will consider separation, but that is a big decision, so I will consider it and look into it. And to everyone saying I should terminate, then say it's a miscarriage, thank you for the idea. I can also leave for a few days and then come tell him I did it. Nervous about the recovery process. I hear the pain is brutal. Thank you for all of your support and advice. Oh, I'm scared. I feel like he's really, like, I'm getting scary vibes from him, and I feel scared if she were to do it and then come and tell him after the fact. And I feel like telling him it would be a miscarriage would probably be the best case scenario here. And, like, this guy's actually pissing me off. He said, I hate the feeling of, okay, you're such a little baby. Like, you're such a baby. If you don't want, ew, it's so annoying. Yeah, and I don't think you really need, like, to even be saying all of these things. Like, you shouldn't need an excuse to just make your own decision about what you want to happen to your body. You don't need to be like, yeah, I hemorrhaged, I almost died in the last birth. Like, that's so scary. But even if you didn't, you still have the right to make your own choice. To make your own decision of what you want to happen to your body. And if you want it to happen to your body or not. I don't really understand why that's so hard for some people to understand. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. The top comment says, if condoms have failed this many times, I think they may not be failing, but tampered with. Please get away from this man. He's escalating and is not safe for you to be around. I wish you hadn't told him at all to keep yourself safe. Someone said, I'm piggybacking off this comment in hopes OP might see it. The recovery process after a surgical abortion isn't that bad. I've had one. I don't remember any pain, just some cramping and bleeding. The recovery process after actually birthing a baby is much harder, just as a comparison. You will be okay. Don't worry about that part. Please stay safe. Find someone you trust to take you to the appointment and to stay with you the day after or 2 days after, and a safe place for you to rest and recover afterwards. Do not trust this man. I don't believe your husband is a safe person for you to be near right now or ever. I agree, and I'm like feeling so sad. And also, what is she saying? Like the part where she says, how did I get pregnant if I knew our prevention is not serious? I was fully not active for a year. This pregnancy happened just because we went for a drink to talk about this and de-stress. I still don't know how it happened, but oh well. What does that mean? What does that mean? That part's scaring me a little. Someone said, something about that, quote, I still don't know how it happened, oopsie, that led to this pregnancy isn't sitting well with me. Sounds like husband may have purposely gotten OP drunk to have unprotected sex, hoping this would happen. Men who don't want women on BC and refuse to wear condoms rarely have noble reasons for either. See, that's what I'm saying. She's like, I don't know how it happened. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of scared for you. And I really hope that wasn't the case, but I feel really bad. But that was posted 8 hours ago, so there's no more updates. I hope all goes well for her. Ugh, I really hope that she just says she had a miscarriage. Like, I'm actually scared for her life. We're going to move on to the next story, and the title is, Am I the asshole for yelling at my deaf cousin for video chatting with my ex? For some context, my 27 male cousin, 17 male, is deaf and uses sign language. He's planning on going to uni in September and is in the process of applying for student loans. My aunt and uncle are helping him with the forms and stuff, but insisting he makes the phone calls himself so he can be independent. For this, he uses a video relay service where he will have a sign language interpreter on video call signing to him and speaking verbally to whoever on the phone. I was at their house and walked into the room to see him on video chat with my ex-girlfriend, 26 female, who I broke up with way back in 2013, 2014. I loved this girl and I was determined to marry her until I saw some messages on her phone that indicated she was being unfaithful. The betrayal was incredibly traumatizing to me and I've never brought myself to date since. I lost it. I marched over there and screamed into the camera that she had some nerve showing her face in my family again after everything she did. I was furious at her sheer nerve to start flirting with my cousin of all people and wondering why the hell she wasn't done torturing me 7 years later. I turned on my cousin, who was angrily signing at me, I don't sign, before my aunt came in asking what the hell was going on. I asked him what he was playing at, and he said he was trying to sort something out with student finance. I guess in the 7 to 8 years since we broke up, my ex has learned to sign and gotten a job as an interpreter, but I still think it's inappropriate for her to be assisting my cousin. I asked him why he would accept her help, and he said he didn't remember who she was, and calls are randomly assigned. I couldn't believe he forgot who she was, and I'm certain she was flirting to get at me. My aunt told me to leave and not come back until I calmed down and apologized. I think my reaction, while emotionally driven, was justified. Am I the asshole? What in the hell makes you think that is a justified reaction? Hey, why the F did you take interpretation from my ex-girlfriend? What? Oh, I'm so sorry that I'm deaf and I need an interpreter. Like, what are you actually saying? What did you think was he gonna do? Even if he did remember her, okay? Okay, sorry that she got assigned to my FaceTime. Like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, next time I'll just, like, exit out and be like, what is he gonna do? What the hell are you talking about? What the hell? Like, what do you expect from him? What do you expect from him? He is just trying to live his life. Like, he is just trying to make a FaceTime call. Can you not make that about yourself and your stupid ex-girlfriend from 8 years ago? Also, get over it. Sorry. Move on. Move on. I get that she was unfaithful, but like, really? Come on. Someone said, you're the asshole big time. How the hell are you so sure she was flirting? OP said she was smiling and laughing. She has a very flirtatious sort of face, demeanor, whatever you want to call it. OP, how old are you, sir? 27? And your poor cousin is 17? Oh my god. This poor little kid. He's a literal child. What the hell? Brethren, I'm actually so nervous for your, like, brain. Okay, next day. Update. Okay, you guys all seem pretty convinced I'm the asshole. I get it. Women and disabled people are always in the right. Sorry, what did he say? What the hell do you mean? You'll be happy to hear that some of my family members agree with you. 1, my brother and his wife took this opportunity to smugly inform me that they've been badgering me to get help for years and pointed out that I shouldn't fly off the handle at someone who wronged me when she was a teenager. My mom thinks I was quite justified and she would have done the same. My aunt and uncle have contacted me, the video relay company, to personally apologize on my behalf in case the experience distressed my ex at all, and assured them that I would not be allowed in the room while my cousin was on the phone again. My stepdad, who wasn't around when all this went down, has arranged for me to have anger management without my say. But I guess I'll go. He says it's highly unlikely that my ex and cousin recognize one another at all, as he was 10 when we broke up and he has aged considerably since she last saw him. I suppose on some level there's some truth in all of that, and maybe I didn't think it through, as you've pointed out, but I still think my anger upon seeing her was justified. She just seemed far happier than she deserves with a new haircut and a new job. I always expected her to be working at McDonald's with a shiftless waste man while I moved up and got my PhD and stuff. I guess you can't have everything in life. Wait, what? I'm sorry. I always expected her to be working at McDonald's with a shiftless waste. With a new job and a new haircut. That new haircut really pissing him off. Also, the fact that it was 8 to 9 years ago, which means they were 18 or 17 during that relationship, that she was unfaithful and you're still not over it. I'm sorry. I hate to shame, but get over it. Get over it. I know that's not even what this is about, but like this is what stemmed your anger. Oh my God. If this were my family member, the way that I would be talking so much shit behind his back, like, this guy's is embarrassing. I'm scared. Someone said, wow, you just don't know when to quit, bro. You've managed to make yourself an even bigger asshole. I'm glad you have some rational family members. You and your mom need therapy. You're the asshole. And someone else said, not shocked to learn that his mom is justifying / enabling him in this. It would be much harder for him to keep that level of vitriol for an ex from 7 years ago if he didn't have anyone else in his life agreeing with him. I'm just glad the aunt and uncle got ahead of things before OOP decided to report her flirting with a minor to get back at her. He could have easily ruined her life if he'd blown up more publicly. Edit, I also agree with some of these replies. I'm skeptical on if she actually cheated on him or not back in the day, especially with what he comments about her being flirty when it sounds like she was just being nice. However, regardless if she did cheat on him, his reaction was way overblown after this much time has passed. I mean, right. It's like, it's not really clocking. It's madness to still be this enraged about a high school breakup while in your late 20s. I hope he's been able to heal in anger management since, because yikes. He needed much more than anger management, someone said. He was completely delusional. Yeah, he's all mad that she has a different haircut than she had in high school. No, why was that so funny, actually? Because the fact that delusional ass people like that exist is like comedy. Straight up comedy. Okay, let's move on, and hopefully this next story isn't as delusional. The title is, Will I Be the Asshole If I Broke Things Off with a Guy Because He Wouldn't Drive Me Home? I, 21 female, have been going out with a guy, 23 male, for 2 months or so. We've been on maybe 4 or 5 dates. He lives in the town over from me. I live in a college town that relies mostly on bikes and buses for transportation. Most students don't have cars, including me. We made plans on Tuesday to go to this bar with mini golf in his town. He said we could meet at 7, but that he couldn't pick me up as he got off work at 6. His town is about a 30-minute drive from mine. And that was fine. I made arrangements to take the bus. Note that I've never been to this part of town before. Anyways, I take 2 buses and get there around 7:15. And we had fun. I drink a bit, and he doesn't drink. I feel like this is important to mention since I assumed he wasn't drinking since he would be driving me back home. Around 11, we decide to wrap things up, and he says goodnight and that we'll plan something later. I, confused, asked if he was driving me home. He said no, that he was too tired to after a 6-hour shift, and now I'm panicking a little since he won't drive me and the buses don't go that late between our towns. I tell him that the buses aren't running anymore, and he sort of just shrugs it off. I asked him why he didn't drink then, and he said he just wasn't feeling it and had to work tomorrow. The only option I had left was an Uber, so I told him I'll take an Uber. The issue with Uber is that the price was quite high, and I don't have that much money on anyways. He says okay and leaves after saying goodnight, which I felt another red flag. We were in a public plaza kind of area, and I felt quite unsafe sitting there all alone at close to midnight. I wish he would have stayed until the Uber arrived at least. Luckily, the rest of the night passed without incident, except me being like $50 poorer from the Uber. I've been thinking about it, and I just felt very uncared for, refusing to drop me off and not really caring about how I got home, and then just letting me wait all alone for the Uber for 10 minutes in what I felt like was a shady area. So will I be the asshole for not seeing a guy anymore for this reason? Edited to add to answer some more questions. 1, I did not know the buses would not be running this late. The buses around my town run until 12 a.m., and I assumed wrongly that the buses between towns would also be running on that schedule. They don't, and end at 10 p.m. 2, if I had known the buses between towns end at 10 p.m., I would have ended the day earlier and gone home. 3, I assumed he was going to drive me back home because A, he only mentioned not being able to pick me up, and B, he's driven me back before on previous dates. I'm not taking advantage of him, as I have also paid for dates. If I had a car, I would have no problem driving to him. 4, I was disappointed he didn't drive me back, but the real kicker to me was that he didn't even wait for my Uber to show up. That was the kind of final nail in the coffin. I don't think that you're the asshole for not seeing him anymore. He obviously is not. He's not that, like, yeah, if you want, like, a guy that cares, he's not the one for you. Especially on the first, like, few dates. I guess she said she's been on, like, 4 or 5 dates with him, but, like, if he's not. I feel like in the beginning, like, when you're going on dates, guys will most likely put on, like, their best foot forward, like, their best foot, that to the point where it's, like, almost fake, because it's like, oh, you would not probably do that regularly, but, like, that's kind of crazy. And also scary, because I agree, like, being by yourself and feeling unsafe waiting for an Uber, and also just, like, Ubering home that late in general, also by yourself, is very scary. And by the way, on Lyft, I don't use Uber anymore for reasons that I'll keep to myself, but some of you can probably guess. On Lyft, they have an option where you can choose, like, it's a little switch that you can turn on, and it only lets, like, women drivers first, so that you don't get, like, a man right away, which is really good to know. Someone said, girl, if a man can watch you struggle to get home late at night and not even pretend to care, he's not someone you need in your life. Ditch him. You deserve way better. 1000%. There's another update, and it's the next day. I didn't expect so many comments on my last post, but they were appreciated. Comments from incels were disregarded and laughed at, including some guy who commented probably 15 plus times, but otherwise I got a lot of good advice. To address a few points. 1, I originally thought he would be driving me home, since he's done so once before when it was late, but it was in my town. This assumption was reinforced when he only mentioned not being able to pick me up, but nothing about dropping me off. If he had said he couldn't drive me back, I would have just budgeted differently or left early to make the bus. Buses around my town run until 12 a.m., but the bus between towns stop running at 10 p.m., which I hadn't known. I did not go in knowing the buses had stopped. If I knew he wasn't planning on driving me back, I would have just double-checked about the bus schedules and paid more attention. 2, I take the blame for not confirming with him about driving me back. I'm not really that upset that he couldn't drive me back, though I was in the moment. I did, however, expect some kind of concern over how I was going to get back and, at the very least, for him to stay until my Uber arrived. Also, for those who blamed me for getting stranded, I wasn't stranded. There was no question about the Uber, but I just would have preferred not to, as it put a dent in my finances. 3, on the issue of me being a gold digger or taking advantage of him, I've paid for dates before. If I had a car, I would drive him. If I had a car, I would drive to him. He was the one who suggested the location and time for this date, so I had no problem catching 2 buses over. And in response to a few annoying comments about gender, if the roles were reversed, I would have driven him back. If I was too tired or didn't want to drive at night or something, there's no question that I would have waited for his Uber and paid half of it. In my opinion, that's just basic decency. Not really sure where the comments whining about equality were coming from, as I would have paid half and waited whether I was a man or a woman. Whether I was with a man or a woman. I think I've addressed the main points, so on to the update. The date happened on Tuesday night. I took an Uber back and got home around midnight. He texted me around 20 minutes after I got home, asking if I got home safe. I didn't respond as I was exhausted, and honestly, I just wanted to shower and sleep. Throughout Wednesday, he sent me a few memes in the morning and afternoon, and then stopped texting. Wednesday evening, I posted my first post, and after that, later at night, he asked if I was mad at him and that he'd just been tired. I finally responded and told him I wasn't really mad that he didn't drive me home, especially since it's true, I didn't confirm, but I was just disappointed since I wished that he would have stayed for the Uber to show up at least. Like, did I wish he drove me home? Sure, but not really that big of a deal that he didn't. The part where he left me at midnight in an unfamiliar place was kind of the kicker for me. He's a lot bigger than I am, and I would just have felt a lot more safe with him there. Once again, he said he was just tired and wanted to go home, and said I ended up okay and that it was fine. Honestly, if he'd done a real apology, I probably would have given him another chance. When I didn't respond to what he said, he kind of moved on and said he already had a place to take me next time, some restaurant a few miles from his house. He said let's do a reservation at 8 p.m. on Saturday and then go out for drinks and then a movie. I kind of wanted to be petty and ask if I should start saving up for an Uber back already, but eventually I just told him that his actions from Tuesday had made me feel very uncared for and that I wasn't really interested in going with him for a 6th date. He immediately started asking if I was serious and that if he would known it was such a big deal, he would have stayed for the Uber. This annoyed me, since how did he not know that it was a big deal? Why did it not occur to him in the first place that leaving me alone at midnight in an unfamiliar public plaza with bars everywhere might be an issue for me? And that he really liked me and didn't want this to ruin things, etc., etc. He even promised to drive me home next time, but I kind of just wanted to wash my hands of this whole thing. I don't want him to feel forced into driving me, and I don't want him to do things only because he thinks he has to, and I don't want to be dating someone who doesn't even think twice about leaving me stranded, buzzed somewhere unfamiliar at midnight, and then only texting me like an hour later. He's still texting me, but I haven't opened those messages yet. I mean, it's also fine if you want a man to court you. Like, I don't really understand that part. Like, men get so mad at women wanting equality but then when it comes to a girl that actually is, like, doing 50-50, they're like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I don't know the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make a point, and I don't know how to word it, but I'm just, like, so confused. It's like, women can also want a man to pay for stuff and court them and pay for everything on a date and not be a gold digger. Like, what the hell does that even mean? Really? Oh my God, yeah, I'm such a gold digger because I went mini golfing and he gave me a ride home. Whoa, yeah. I'm digging lots of gold, buddy. Like, what do you mean? That's really the craziest thing I've ever heard, to be honest with you. And then him being like, I didn't know that it was going to be that big of a deal. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. You didn't know it was a big deal, which means you're not aware of, like, women, safety, caring about women. Like, what else are you not aware of? Like, that's not a good excuse. Actually, that's even worse because it's like, okay, so, like, I have to explain to you things every single time in the future. You know, that's just, no. Someone said, I would just reply, if you couldn't see that leaving a woman alone in a strange place in the middle of the night would make you an undesirable partner, perhaps you shouldn't be dating. And to answer your question, really, I'm no longer interested. Please stop reaching out to me. And then someone else said, quote, if I knew you'd stop seeing me over it, I would have stayed for your Uber. Okay, but you should have stayed because you cared and wanted me home safe, not because you lose pussy privileges when you don't. Exactly. 1000%. It's so crazy. This could be massive, said Jesus. What a dumb fuck guy that is. How was I to know that abandoning my date in a strange place after midnight with no transportation is a bad idea? Yeah, because that's crazy. Like, even if it was a guy, I still wouldn't leave them. Like, if it was a guy and I was going home and he was Ubering, I still wouldn't leave them by themselves. Even though, like, what am I going to do to defend you? Probably nothing. But I feel like it's just, like, nice to have a person there to wait for you. Like, just common decency and respect. But then as a woman, it's even scarier because it's like, oh, yeah, great. I've had a few drinks. I'm a little buzzed. And I'm alone in a parking lot in the middle of the night. I'm scared. No, thank you. But clearly that guy is just actually so dumb. And like, sorry, but if you're a guy and you're not aware of things like this, you should probably read a couple books before dating a woman, honestly. Like, read anything, watch anything, and get acquainted with the world around us. I don't know. Like, that's giving, like, you're 14 years old. You're not, how are you, 23 or 23 and you don't know that it would be a big deal to leave a woman alone? Or even just in general, just someone that you're dating. Like, you're taking on a date. You're going on a date with someone and then you're just like, okay, bye. Have fun waiting for your Uber by yourself. My darling armadillo said he didn't care at all until he realized there were consequences either. Not a single shit given. And he must still have been up if he was texting too. OP sounds nice as well, so he's probably regretting it now. Yeah, and she also had paid for dates too. Like, that's really nice of her. She didn't have to do that. Everyone has different expectations, but frankly, when I would go on first dates, if the guy didn't pay, or I guess it wasn't the first date, so it's a little different, but like, I would go on a couple dates with guys, and if they didn't pay, I would be like, okay, I'm not going on another date with you. I don't even care if that is like makes it seem like I'm a gold digger. Okay. Yeah. I'm such a gold digger, sorry, because I want a man to like pay for me on a date. I don't really understand that. Sorry, what do you mean? Like, sorry, I think it's attractive if you're paying for me on a date, and I think it's unattractive if you don't. I don't feel like I have to explain that. And it's totally fine if a woman also would want to pay for the date and not do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine if you as a woman would rather do 50-50, or if you would rather pay for the date, okay. All power to you. But like, it's also okay for a woman to want the guy that they're dating to pay for their dinners and their dates and stuff. Unless it's specifically like, obviously now I'm dating my boyfriend. Yeah, I'm going to take him on dates too sometimes because I don't know, that's just the type of person I am. I just like to do stuff like that. Someone said, too tired after a 6-hour shift. I have to wonder, doing what? Manual labor? Just bored too much said, this is like basic courtesy. If I invite someone for a hangout, I'll wait at least till they get a drive. Does he not have any situational awareness? Who leaves someone at an unknown place, and that too around midnight? Yeah, I've hung around till the Ubers arrive for random people I've met and vibed with at concerts. Sticking around to see a date off should be pretty effing obvious. I won't leave a strange human alone to wait for the ride at night. Jesus Christmas. For real, I worked a closing shift at a gas station for a while. At a gas station? at a gas station for a while, and when my boss realized that the bus schedule had me standing outside alone past midnight right in front of a dive bar on the divide to the sketchy part of the town, he adjusted my work schedule so that I could leave 10 minutes early and catch the earlier bus home instead. It's a crappy minimum wage job that did that for me. The least a partner could do is wait for the ride with them. I wouldn't even do that to a coworker. Instant ick from that date. Thank God these people are agreeing. Of course, there's going to be some incels that are like, you're using him. All you care about is if he drives you home and pays for the date. Like, goodbye. And oh my God, I've actually learned crazy things about incels recently that I did not know previously. There's like a lot of stuff. And guys, remember when I didn't know who Nick Fuentes was and I didn't know what the Groypers were in like an episode probably a month or two ago? Okay, I'm sorry, but I could have gone my whole life without knowing more information about this guy. But of course, with the recent political events and whatnot, a lot of things have been coming like to light, and obviously like Nick Fuentes and the like Groyper movement has been a big topic of discussion lately, and I've learned way too much about this man that I literally could have gone my whole life without knowing. And like, it's actually insane. He if you listen to things that he says, he's actually the scariest human being I have ever. I mean, just upon me Googling in that episode, being like, who is Nick Fuentes and what is a Groyper? And like reading that, I already came to the conclusion that he's the worst type of person. But listening to him talk and he's like, no, he was literally talking on his podcast saying like, if I'm 30 years old, like, I don't want to date like an 18-year-old, because then by the time I'm like 50, she'll be, I don't even know what he was saying, but he was basically saying that the oldest that he would go is 16. He's like, no, I feel like if I'm 30 and I'm dating a 16-year-old, like that's the perfect age, because then by the time I'm this age, she'll be this age. And then like he was saying something about how like, ew, I'm going to be 40 and she'll be 30. Like, ew, no. He's actually so scary. And no, he was literally so many things I could say, but I'm not going to like repeat on this podcast because it's just sickening. And like, I don't want to even spread that information around that he was saying. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, genuinely mind-boggling that someone has the audacity to say that stuff out loud. It's like, first of all, you are choosing to say this out loud. Not only are you choosing to say it out loud, but you're choosing to say it on a microphone and publishing it on a public platform. And then the fact that he has like so many fans and followers is even scarier, because it's like, why are we normalizing this behavior? And I cannot believe that people are actually like that. Like, there are actually enough people to give this man like a big platform. There are enough people that agree with this man and that like follow him and agree with what he says. Oh my God. People were like, ugh, I can't even talk about him anymore. Like, he's genuinely disgusting. Genuinely disgusting. But anyways, that's the end of that episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about that. If you haven't already, please press the subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment. And let me know what you thought about those stories. And let me know what you're doing right now. Okay, love you. Bye. Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.